at the regular council meeting on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, in council chambers, Sparta Township, Municipal Building, 65 Main Street, Sparta, New Jersey. The time is 7:05. All council meetings are now live streamed and can be viewed at the following link, www.youtube.com/SpartaTWP/streams. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the public and press on January 10th, 2025, by delivering to the press and posting on the township website a copy of the notice. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Scott.
Here.
Councilman Blumetti.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Here.
Mayor Clark.
Here. All right, stand up and salute the flag. But before we do so, may we have a moment of silence for the ceasefire in the Middle East and for all the hostages and all the victims of the Middle East war that is hopefully coming to an end,
And the families.
and the families. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, tonight we have a proclamation. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I can suspect that probably almost everyone in this room has either been directly affected by breast cancer or knows someone who has. And so it is an unfortunate reality, but it's also one that has become increasingly easier to treat, and the prognosis is much better due to the awareness and all the funding and information that has been focused on this awful disease. So tonight we have Romina Severia from the Public Health Nursing Sussex County Field Rep, and I will read the proclamation, and then she'll come up and get it from us. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas the Township of Sparta values the health and well-being of all its citizens and supports awareness of breast cancer, which affects the lives of its citizens as well as their family members. And whereas in the United States in 2025, it is estimated that more than 319,750 will be diagnosed. While deaths from breast cancer have declined over time, it remains the second most common form of cancer and the second leading cause of cancer death overall among American women, with a staggering 42,680 lives lost each year. And whereas funding for research, public education about symptoms, insurance coverage for diagnostic testing, early detection, and affordable treatment are the keys to fighting breast cancer. When caught in its earliest localized stages, the 5-year relative survival rate is 99%. Early detection and treatment methods have increased breast cancer survival rates, and there are currently over 4 million survivors. And whereas the goal of the organization and the local affiliate is to raise awareness of the impacts of this disease and measures for prevention and early detection among the citizens of Sparta. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township Council of the Township of Sparta does hereby proclaim that October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month and encourages all residents and their families to increase their awareness of the symptoms and treatments of breast cancer. Okay, so Ms. Silveria, would you please come up? Thanks.
Neil.
Neil.
We're going to turn this one.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Romina. I am the field representative for the Sussex County Division of Health. Every year, more than 2 million women around the world are diagnosed with breast cancer, and breast cancer does not discriminate. It affects people of every background, age, and income level. In the U.S., the percentage of women diagnosed with breast cancer has slowly been rising over the past couple decades. And here in Sussex County, our breast cancer rate is about 140 women. 140 cases per 100,000 women, which is slightly higher than the state average. So at the Sussex County Division of Health, we are proud to offer the NJ Seed program, and NJ Seed stands for the New Jersey Cancer Education and Early Detection Program, which is funded by the state and the CDC. Through education and early detection, the CDC program works to help people understand their cancer risks and takes action. The Office of Public Health and Nursing offers cancer screenings at our Wheatsworth Road office in Hamburg, and it is for uninsured and eligible county residents. The clinic is by appointment only and includes a Women Healthy health testing, clinical exam, and follow-up mammogram. So anyone who is interested, they can call the Office of Public Health and Nursing at 973-579-0570, or they can visit the county website for additional information. And we want to thank the Township of Sparta for this proclamation and helping
you
us
for all
fight
you
breast
do.
cancer. Yes, thank you.
Please get tested early and often.
Of course,
So,
absolutely, yes.
and this is for you.
Awesome,
All
thank
right,
you so
thank
much,
you.
I appreciate it.
Get a picture. And thank you. I am a survivor, and anybody here would like to offer my deepest love and warm.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
thank
you.
you, thank you guys.
All right, thank you. Okay, we don't have any minutes to approve tonight, so that means we go right to the manager's report. So, Mr. Zepp, could you please provide us with the manager's report this evening?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, council members, Sparta residents, whether you're joining us here in person or online. As Township Manager, one of the great honors I have is appointing new members to our fire department. Last week, Fire Chief Ryan Odom recommended Mr. Harrison D'Amico for appointment, and I'm pleased to share that Mr. D'Amico has successfully completed all the necessary requirements. On October 7th, the fire department officially voted to welcome Mr. D'Amico as the newest member to the fire department. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Mr. D'Amico for his dedication and commitment to serving the residents of Sparta. I'm also proud to recognize our construction department staff for their recent achievements. Joe Sorecchia, fire subcode official, earned his building RCS license. Dimitri Checker, plumbing subcode official, earned both building RCS and technical assistant licenses. John Way, building subcode official, earned his mechanical inspector and construction official licenses. These credentials strengthen our team's ability to serve Sparta residents and businesses with greater expertise and efficiency. Congratulations to Joe, Dimitri, and John. On October 10th, the Recreation Department hosted our first ever Ghost Walks for students in grades 6 and up. Over 70 participants enjoyed a night of spooky fun with delicious food and refreshments provided by Homer's Food Truck and Bruni Corn Coffee Truck. Special thanks to Allison Sussman, Sparta High School drama teacher, and her talented students for making this event memorable. On October 11th, White Lake Park was filled with Halloween spirit as we welcomed children ages 10 and under for our annual trunk or treat. With more than 30 trunk volunteers, including members of our ambulance, fire, and police departments, and approximately 500 residents in attendance. It was a fantastic kickoff to the Halloween season. Green Beans was on site serving hot beverages to keep everyone warm. Our seniors will be attending the North Star Theater Company's production of Steel Magnolias on Saturday, November 15th in Ogdensburg. Registration closes November 10th. Tickets are limited and available on a first-come, first-served basis. Tickets are $16 and the performance begins at 2 p.m. To reserve your spot, register online or call the Recreation office. The library remains welcoming thanks to bookkeeper Genevieve Leonardo's decorations and gardening. Most computers are now upgraded to Windows 11. The rest will be done by the month's end. September programs drew strong attendance, including moving screenings, French classes, yoga, mahjong, book talks, and virtual paint and sip. I encourage everyone to visit our library. Earlier this month, our Public Works Department and paving vendor finished milling and paving Balsam and Birch Parkways in the Lake Mohawk section of town. The only remaining capital improvement project for this year is the sidewalk improvement and paving of Main Street from the Route 15 bridge in front of Town Hall to the post office. Work is anticipated to start next week, pending the weather. Please anticipate possible delays and detours while these improvements are being done. Chief McCarrick will now present his portion of the report. This concludes my report. Thank you for your attention.
Good evening. Thank you, Manager Zepp. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Wednesday, October 1st, we had our annual Coffee with a Cop. I think it was our best year yet. We got to see a lot of our regulars and a lot of new residents come in, discuss some of the issues that they're facing. And we were able to better, provide them some information and see where we could better divert some of our patrols with some of the issues that they are facing. I'd like to thank the library staff for hosting and Cloberry for providing the coffee as a donation for this event. Again, as a reminder, October 17th, this Friday, 6 to 9 p.m., we're hosting our annual Hang with Heroes event. This event will give the public a great opportunity to come out and see everybody. We'll have our first responders, our police, fire, EMS, our DPW, animal control, our local veterans, our partners from the Center for Prevention and Counseling will be on hand to provide information about CLEAR, which is Community Law Enforcement Addiction Recovery, Operation Helping Hands. And additionally, there will be from 7 to 8 p.m., there will be a hidden in plain sight demonstration by Ashley from the Center for Prevention and Counseling, which will take place inside the VFW. The American Red Cross will be out to provide information on their smoke alarm initiative, and we'll have representatives from LEAD, information on our Junior Police Academy. We'll be handing out free gun locks with our friends from Be Smart. The Sparta Women's Club will be there to speak about the Vial Life program. Sparta CERT team volunteers will be there to speak about how they assist first responders when needed. Our school resource officer, Chris Favaro, will have information on impaired driving, and a small course set up utilizing our new Fatal Vision goggles and carts. There'll be live DJ, food, games, donut eating contests, cops, donuts. I mean, it makes sense, right? Presentations on plenty of helpful information and resources available. So there will also be opportunity for individuals to drop off their unused or expired medication so we could properly dispose of it with the DEA. And I really want to stress this year that we're asking for anyone who would like to bring a non-perishable item to be donated to the Sparta Food Pantry, as the food pantry has been assisting families for many years across our whole county, and it takes a team to support them. Hanging with Heroes, like I said before, is not just a children's event. It's an event for the whole community to come out and have a good night. Put your differences aside and enjoy the night. Last thing I have is this past Friday, October 10th, our dispatch received a call with concerns from a resident for an 18-year-old autistic female who went missing. Our patrols responded to the complainant's residence to gather information and quickly started the process of assembling more manpower for a search. The information received was that the missing female wandered off into the woods towards Riker Lake on Sparta Mountain. So relaying this information to our local law enforcement partners for more manpower and additional resources was so important due to the late time of the day. It was about 3 o'clock, and obviously we only had about 3.5, 4 hours of light at that time, and the magnitude of forest area to search where we believe the individual was. It was all hands on deck with our office, our department, and we were lucky enough to find the young lady approximately 1.5 to 2 hours after the initial call. Detective Pletcher located her deep in the woods and she was happy to see somebody. She was uninjured. I'd like to thank the abundance of agency who, on a drop of a dime on a Friday afternoon, assisted Sussex County Sheriff's Department, many of their resources up there and equipment, New Jersey State Police Search and Rescue, our Sussex County Prosecutor's Office, Maywood K-9 Unit, our very own Sparta Fire, EMS, and also our Sparta CERT members who are volunteers too. Everybody was on hand, and it was taken care of rather quickly, and I'm very proud of everybody. I'm glad that this young lady is home safe, and it takes a team to get things like this done, and I'm glad that we could come together on that and make it happen. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
And congratulations to Mr. D'Amico, who's now a member of our fire department. Also, thank you, Chief. I know that family is extremely relieved. I can't imagine the kind of how scary that is to not know where your child is. But thank you, and to all you and everyone who reached out and helped find this young lady. And we're very lucky to live in a community that can put all hands on deck to help relieve a very scary thing when your child goes missing. Right, with that, may I have a motion to approve the manager's report?
So moved.
May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 The manager's report has been approved. We're now up to our first public comment period, and this is limited to items that are not on the agenda. So if you see something on the agenda, like an ordinance or a resolution that you're interested in talking about it, now's not the time. There will be other times during the course of our meeting to speak on that. So this is for items not on the agenda. Is it about an item that's on the agenda?
There is a issue with something that's on the agenda that has incorrect information that's on the agenda for this evening.
Okay, so the time to do that is at our next public comment period, because this is limited to items that are not on the agenda. So we
I
try to
understand
follow that.
I understand that
protocol.
completely. Is that prior to moving of resolutions? Because is the public comment section? Honestly, it's the first time I'm speaking at
yeah, the
council
next
meeting.
one-
I'm asking the instructions
The
because I don't
the
want to.
next one is before the resolution.
So
Okay,
right
that's what I
before.
need. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Yep. Okay, any other comment about items that are not on the agenda?
Joanne Scally, Sparta, New Jersey. Just addressing a social media post that you posted on. I shouldn't be shocked anymore, but I am shocked by this post on Sparta, what's happening pertaining to Beth Broderick's nomination to the planning board. It was very insulting to one of your constituents that's dedicated. And what you wrote is to Beth, tagged her in it, I'm happy to tell you directly why you would not be a good fit for a planning board or zoning board. You could talk to me directly. You know how to reach me. Why do you think that that is appropriate on a social media post for all the public to see, to call someone out and tell them why they're not fit? And why? You're the one person, but two people thought she was fit. Are you thinking that you're on a throne and you can tell who's fit? And we have two people that thought she was fit, but why call her out on social media? That is disgusting. It's ignorant. It's not professional. And again, I'll ask for you to resign because you've won too many times. And again, I thought I was never going to be shocked again by what you did, but I am shocked again. It was all-time low to call someone out on social media. Again, I think you should apologize to many people, and it's just wrong. And I go back to the nominations when you had a quorum. I still think it was a quorum, and I still think that somehow our town attorney would tell you to it would be alternate one or two, but that time he didn't say alternate one or two. He didn't advise you. It's not a coincidence in my mind. It might be one, but I still think that Beth should be on the planning board. She was nominated with a quorum. And the main thing about this is the social media. You calling someone out in social media. And that's about all I can say.
Okay, thank you.
And did you ever look at the YouTube of April 22nd?
What's that?
The YouTube of April 22nd that you promised like a month or two ago that you were going to look at?
And what was the purpose of looking at that?
Forget it. If you
Okay.
have no respect for me asking you that, then forget it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jody.
And I'll just say that the reason why I made the comment that I did is if you're going to question why I did not, advance Ms. Broderick's, and we're questioning that, I will comment on that. No, your time has expired. This is not an argument.
No, it's 5 minutes is not up. My thing is not that you commented back to what was beyond there. You could have commented to her privately. You had plenty of time since, what, it was a month and a half ago that she was nominated. You had plenty of time to get in touch with her, but you chose not to. And you chose to call her out on Facebook, social media, which was not professional and should not have did that. Again, it's beyond me why you would think that would be okay to call out someone. That is embarrassing to her. It's degrading to her, and it's not right to these two other Councilman Murphy and Scott, that you would tell them. And you should apologize to them too. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, my intent was obviously not to hurt someone's feelings, so I apologize if it hurt your feelings. I was simply saying in response to someone questioning me, so, yes, sir. And this is an item that's not on the agenda at all, correct?
Robert Moss, Bloomfield. Actually, that's the question, my first question. I understood it was on the agenda, but it's not going to be addressed tonight. That's Sparta Mountain.
Yeah, we will be, I'll get to that, but that's, we're going to be tabling that, but,
Well, should I wait till then? And because it's not on the agenda, so I thought I could
well,
go
it,
now.
it technically is, so you can, at the time of public comment related to resolutions, you could do it.
Okay.
Okay? Anyone else for public comment for an item that's not on the agenda?
Hi, Mike Devine, Sparta. I hope this is appropriate. I didn't know about the lost woman, but I think what I heard of how the chief and his people coordinated this entire response so quickly, successfully, that's an extraordinary gift to our township. So I'd like to echo the mayor's thanks for what you did. It's really extraordinary.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, anyone else for public comment for items that are not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll get to the expenditures. Deputy Mayor Murphy, would you please read the expenditures for October 14th, 2025?
Yes, the total expenditures for October 14th, 2025 are $1,314,751.43.
May I have a motion to approve the expenditures as read?
So moved.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 The expenditures for October 14th, 2025 have been approved. We have a fair amount of ordinances to get through, introductions and in hearings. So we're turning to that portion of our meeting right now. First off, Madam Clerk, could you please read the title of ordinance 2517?
Mayor, did you want to go over a resolution? The resolution?
Oh, do we need to do that? I thought we would do that at the resolution part. Do you want to do it before? Because I can go and for the resolutions, I can do 910 first and then 91? Or I can do it now, however you,
I think that needs to be done before we do the
Ordinances?
9-18.
well, we're doing ordinances now.
I mean, right, I'm saying is, I thought you were going to, do you need to go to the resolutions?
Does that last resolution need to happen before we introduce this ordinance? Is
Yes,
that the
10
question?
and then
Oh, okay,
9.
that's what I wasn't understanding. That the
9-10.
resolution corresponds to an ordinance, not another resolution. So in order to do the ordinance, we need to do the resolution.
Just for 25-18.
Got it, okay, so we'll do that then. So, based on the instruction from our clerk, we do need to go a little out of order and handle, resolution 910 and 91 before we do ordinance 2518. Okay, so may I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-1, which is a resolution authorizing in addition to the 2025 capital budget pursuant to NJSA 40A4-44.
So I have a question. Do we need to open it to the public for those two resolutions before we do them?
You could do that, and you should do 910 first, and then 91.
9-1.
But you could open it up to the public, because we usually generally do that before the
Later on, it won't-
resolutions.
Okay.
Be no
Just we
longer
have a
relevant.
weird situation.
Yeah,
with
just for those two.
All right.
These two.
Just
So does anyone have public comment on Resolution 910 and 91? Okay, seeing no one, and the order is 910 first, then 91.
There you go.
Got it, okay. So actually, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 910, which is a resolution authorizing the cancellation of unexpended and dedicated balances of general capital appropriations.
I make a resolution, motion to approve Resolution 910.
I second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 910 is passed. Now we go to 9-1. May I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-1, which is a resolution authorizing in addition to the 2025 capital budget pursuant to NJSA 40A 4-44.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 9-1. I'll get it right later.
And may I have a second, please?
I will second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Sorry. So
Aye.
Resolution 9-10 and 9-1 have been approved, and then we'll get to 25-18 and its proper numerical sequence. So now, Madam Clerk, may I have, may you read title of ordinance 25-16?
25-17.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm on hearing.
That's okay.
I had to go back and forth, sorry about that.
All
We're
right, no problem.
25-17. Can you please read the title of ordinance 25-17?
An ordinance of the Township of Sparta, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, establishing an advisory beautification committee within the township.
All right, may I have a motion to introduce ordinance 25-17?
I make a motion to introduce ordinance 25-17.
May I have a second, please?
I will second.
All right, before we go to roll call, any discussion on 25-17, even though we try to avoid discussion on introductions? All right, may I have? In the 25-16, that's a hearing. We're only at the introductions now.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor, no, a roll call vote on 25-17.
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Blumetti,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes, so ordinance 25-17 will be introduced. That is dealing with the Sparta Beautification Committee that I alluded to in prior meetings. So we're very excited about getting this committee underway, and do encourage folks to apply via our website. And then in 2 weeks, we'll have a hearing about it. Next up, Madam Clerk, can you please read the title of ordinance 25-18?
An ordinance appropriating the total sum of $90,000 from general capital fund balance for funding, digitizing, and archiving paper files or purposes by the Township of Sparta in the County of Sussex, New Jersey.
Okay, may I have a motion to introduce ordinance 25-18?
I will make a motion to approve ordinance 25-18.
Right, may I have a second, please?
I will second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Blumetti,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes, ordinance 25-18 has been introduced, and in 2 weeks, we will have a hearing on that. Next up, Madam Clerk, could you please read the title of ordinance 25-19?
An ordinance of the Township of Sparta, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, to ban smoke shops and vape shops as a principal permitted use in any zone district, and to regulate, restrict the sale of cannabis-derived products within the township.
Okay, may I have a motion to introduce ordinance 25-19? All right, I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 25-19. May I have a second, please?
I will second.
Okay. So this is simply the introduction. We will have a full hearing in 2 weeks hence. So may I have, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Blumetti,
Despite the title, no.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. So we will, 25-19 has been introduced, and in 2 weeks, we will have a hearing on that particular ordinance. We are now up to a hearing on ordinance 25-16. So we're not just introducing this one, we're having a hearing on it. Madam Clerk, could you please read the title of ordinance 25-16?
An ordinance of the Township of Sparta amending the salary ordinance for non-union and union employees.
Okay, I will, because we're having a hearing, we have to open to public comment. Does anyone want to be heard specifically on ordinance 2516.
Jenny Derrick's tapping to Sparta. At the last meeting, when this was introduced, I asked if we could have the information about the delta. What is the change in this table of salaries versus what was in the past? And further, who decides where the employee falls within that range?
Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
I'll take this one. I prepared a statement because when we introduced it, I know there were some questions about salary ordinance. So I have this statement here and we can go off of that. This year's salary ordinance has been adopted in accordance with the New Jersey Pay and Benefits Transparency Act, which requires all employers with 10 or more employees to publicly disclose salary ranges and general benefits for all municipal positions. The ordinance is designed to promote workplace equity, transparency, and fiscal responsibility. The ordinance establishes the minimum and maximum salary ranges for all township positions, including elected officials, management, union, and non-union employees. These ranges are set to ensure compliance with state law, reflect negotiated union contracts, and incorporate annual cost of living adjustments and minimum wage increases. Not all positions are currently filled, but any hiring, transfers, or promotions must adhere to the established salary ranges. Additionally, the ordinance is submitted to the Division of Pensions and Benefits, as it may affect pensionable salary ranges and retirement compensation for eligible employees. Some positions may have higher maximums due to long-serving staff who have dedicated many years to our community. This ordinance was introduced on September 23rd and is up for adoption after tonight's hearing. Once adopted, it will assist to guide our staffing and budgeting decisions for the coming year. We remain committed to transparency and responsible government. And if you have any questions or would like further details, please feel free to reach out to my office. When it comes to Delta, you're looking for an answer of what the changes were. There wasn't a blanket Delta on the salary ordinance. Each title is basically looked at, and then we look at the employees who are in those titles, and then we make sure the ranges are accommodating those employees. Councilman Blumetti had asked questions behind why some titles seem to have much larger ranges to them, higher ranges than what you would expect for the title. And that was generally attributed to the employee themselves because they've been here for over 20 years and their salary has been accumulated that high. So you would have that salary being accommodated appropriately. You have the cost of living adjustments, and if an employee had acquired that cost of living adjustment and it brought him out of that range, then the range was adjusted accordingly. What we try to do is anticipate and give a little buffer on those ranges, so not everybody's hitting the high range, and we also have the lower range, so when we're hiring, we have a starting point as well. I hope that answers the questions that the public has when it comes to the salary ordinance. It is public information, and you can see this. And again, you're welcome to contact me for any other questions.
So do I need to Oprah the last year's? I know you do this every year or thereafter. So my
It's actually a
question
little
was,
different this year because that new act, the Pay and Benefits Transparency Act, was just enacted now, which requires this, which we've already done. Most towns will do it for transparency. Jenny, I'm sure I'll provide whatever it is we
okay,
you
I'm
ask
just
for.
looking for what they were last year and what they are now this year, what the ranges were last year and what the ranges are this year. I'm not looking for individual
I can provide that
salaries,
to you.
but that was my question.
I'll get it to you.
Thank you.
Manager Zeb, the ordinances are on the website, so if you go back, you can see salary. Yes, the ordinances are on there. You're welcome.
Thanks, Roxanne.
So anyone else from the public wishing to be heard on ordinance 2516? Okay, seeing no one, I'll take it back to council for discussion and comments. Is any member of council wishing to be heard on 2516? Okay.
No.
All right, no comment or discussion. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2516?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2516.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Blumetti,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. All right, 2516 has been adopted. Now we are up to the public comment period that's dealing with resolutions. So if you have a comment that you would like to make about a particular resolution, please do so now.
Thank you for clarifying.
Sure.
Jen Rogoff, Sparta. So I'm speaking tonight regarding 9-9, which is the resolution to the acquisition of certain township lands. So I arrived home late last week to find survey stakes in my yard. So at which point I was at work, they came on my property, they surveyed a good chunk of my property, they placed stakes and ribbons through my backyard and the yards of my neighbors. And so I was lucky that one of my neighbors who was home that day, I started reaching out to find out, does anyone know who was on my property when we weren't home without our permission or any notice? And one of my neighbors thankfully had approached the surveyors and found out they were there from Dykstra. And so my husband, this was on Friday, so on Monday, my husband called down to Dykstra and they explained that this was part of this ordinance and this transition of land from one entity to another, from Sparta Township to this land trust, and it is the parcel directly behind my property. However, we were able to provide our survey, and there seems to be a significant discrepancy as to where the property line is. I do have a copy of my certified survey with me this evening, but I am respectfully asking that you table this until we get through this discrepancy with the survey company, and also that we have more information. I didn't know what it was about. I did contact Mr. Zepp's office. His secretary was able to provide me with some general information. She was very helpful. I went online trying to find more information, being that the entire rear border of my property is exactly against this land, and I had zero notification that that property was affected, that any of this was happening. I'm over 1.5 miles from the high school, even further from the middle school, yet this is directly in my backyard. I did find some information just because my property is immediately adjacent. Guidelines for conveyance of land for the New Jersey Natural Lands Trust. In their own guidance, it says all property owners within 200 feet of the property proposed to be conveyed, any group having expressed interest in the property proposed to be conveyed, the individual or group or who donated the property to the trust, any governmental agency or agencies involved in the original conveyance. Verification may be done by means of certified mail notice with return receipt requested. There was no notice. There was no notice that they would be surveying the property adjacent to mine, let alone that they would be entering my property when no one was home. So at this point, we did inform the professionals at Dykstra that there seems to be a discrepancy in the property line. I do have a photograph on my phone that shows where they put a corner stake and a secondary flag. The secondary flag is actually where the marker is that our survey, when we purchased the home, was placed. So we have a marker there that shows it is well, that their markers are well within our property. So.
Okay, are you done? I don't want to, I have answers for you. I just want to make sure I'm not interrupting.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first off, I understand why you'd be concerned. I get it. I want you to understand what we are doing tonight. What we are doing tonight is not entering into a contract with New Jersey Land Trust to convey land that township owns and then conveying that. All we're doing is authorizing the council to begin discussions of entering into a contract with New Jersey Land Trust. There's still a contract to be entered into and still a deed. And it's at that point that there'll be very specific, description, and I can bring in Doug Dykstra to explain, where the property lines are. All we're doing tonight is authorizing us to do that. No land, and to be clear, in no event would anyone's private property land be conveyed, right? Like you have to, that's why we did it by lot and block. And so, but what I will do is when we it's going to take some time to, start working on these contracts and all that stuff. All we're doing tonight is to authorize so we can start doing that. Mr. Dykstra is aware of the issue, and will be, we'll make sure that, reassure you, this happens in these conveyances. What happens a lot of the time, I'm not saying this is you, people whose property abuts preserved land often use that preserved land to put stuff in, and I'm not saying that's you, but it's called an encroachment, right? They encroach on it, and all of a sudden, they're like, wait a minute, I thought I owned that 20 feet. It's like, no, you don't. And we can work those things out where you have what you think is your property, the land trust has, or we have what we think is our property, and we can hash all that out. I don't think we need to delay the process, and just be assured that your issue will get addressed. You will, and nothing we're doing tonight somehow affects your rights or anything else. And my understanding, Attorney Dash, is when you just do the resolution that we're doing, there's not a notice provision required, right?
Yes, correct. So, ma'am, your concern is taken, well taken, and rest assured, as the mayor said, that the township will not exchange or transfer any properties that include portions of your property. I understand your property abuts Lot 46, Block 26001. And as the mayor said, rest assured that the township will not be conveying any portion of your property, number one. Number two, the action taken tonight is simply an endorsement of the process. It's not a conveyance of your property.
Yeah, and I understand that. And I figured they'll figure out where the property line is. That isn't my concern. My concern is that all of this is happening and I live right there and I had zero information. And I can't be the only one that had no information. So there's some neighbors here tonight who also didn't know. So I am once again asking to respectfully not move forward tonight until more information is provided to the taxpayers of Sparta. Why are we giving away 28 acres in exchange for a 5-acre pact to make a path? I don't want the kids walking on West Mountain. West Mountain's dangerous. But at the same time, I don't know why we're giving away 28 acres of land. If you look at what they did in Vernon, they built a boardwalk. They found ways to work with the wetlands, the highlands, and all of these different organizations. And this seems like we're giving a lot away to get a little bit of permission to make a path. And I don't think that you're at the point, just based on the information that I was able to find and the fact that the surveys aren't even correct to start the process. I don't think you're at the point where you should be entering into an agreement until you have more information to provide to the public, some type of public information. I was trying to reach through things and I found there was a notice I found on Facebook of an October 3rd Zoom meeting with a password. I don't even know what time of day that meeting was or anything. I would have never to look for a land trust meeting on October 3rd. This wasn't anywhere on my radar. And I'm sure I'm not the only resident of Sparta that was unaware and is now really interested, because I think the potential to have a path between the schools, tremendous. But at what expense I want the land near my home to be governed by Sparta, the people who live here and care about Sparta. I don't want the state controlling the land adjacent to my backyard. They don't have the same interests as the people who live and reside in Sparta. And I, at this point, want the land to stay with Sparta.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah,
what
first of all, one, we're not entering into an agreement. What we do tonight is simply allowing the process to unfold, which will, once that process is able to unfold, we'll be able to address the issues that you're concerned about. And so we're not at the stage yet where we're passing a resolution to actually enter into a contract for the conveyance. This is simply to begin the discussions with the New Jersey Land Trust to put into a contract those properties. Now, I understand people's concern. You're getting 5 and you have to give up 25. Well, one, that's a product of what the New Jersey Land Trust requires. Also, this land that we owned is environmentally sensitive, not developable.
Correct.
Right? So it's not like
Absolutely.
it's not developable. And what this does for the New Jersey Land Trust is that they already have preserves back there. Unfortunately, it's sort of broken up between what the township owns and what they own. And this allows it to be contiguous, right? That's why they want it to be that way. And that, again, they're the land trust. They're not going to then go turn around and say, let's go put a stadium on the New Jersey Land Trust. That would, violate their charter, all kinds of things. They are interested in keeping preserved land preserved. And so if the fact that the state has it now, frankly, actually probably safeguards it more than if a township does, because a township can always decide, well, heck, we own this. Why don't we put some developable property there? So in any event, now is not, the time. We will get into that. There'll be more ample opportunity for your concerns to be raised. But, we have to get the process started. There's probably a reason why trail stuff has been stymied for over 20 years, is because constantly roadblocks, and it takes a lot of work. And this is just one property, right? For every trail, there's, could be 5 other private property owners who abut that, and you have to deal with those issues. When we get that, it's a lot of work. But we need to get moving on that. And again, no one's rights are getting waived or violated tonight by what we do. Before we enter that contract, all those issues will be fleshed out. And plenty of notice about, and again, it was put in the agenda on Friday. That is we complied with our public notice provisions. I know that's probably not sufficient for you. But again, now knowing, we'll be sure to, hey, on tonight's agenda is the contract for actually conveying this land. We'll make sure that folks know about that.
The language in here does say for recreational and public use on the document that you provided for tonight's meeting, on the resolution itself.
Okay.
So that would be a concern just based on the fact that we purchased the home because it was preserved land that could never be built on. And you mentioned also trails in your statement, which also, that's developing on preserved lands if you intend to.
Not for your property. Where your property is located is actually
Wetlands back there.
Yeah, it's called Compensation Parcel B, Lot 46, Block 26001. That's not where the trail's going.
Okay, so the trail you're talking about is only the path from the middle school to that?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So that,
For clarifying. 'Cause
yeah,
you
and
said
that-
trail and that,
Yeah, and this is what we were giving to the New Jersey Land Trust. They have no interest in building trails or anything. They just want to keep it preserved. It's got all kinds of environmentally sensitive
does.
stuff there. So they're not interested in, oh, now that we have this, let's go put a racetrack there. That's not what's going on.
no, I'm not worried about them building development. It is preserved land regardless of who is the governing body, but.
Exactly, and they're probably more committed than any township is to keeping preserved land. In fact, that's their whole reason to be, is to keep land preserved. So, frankly, if you're interested in preserving land, it's probably in better hands with the New Jersey Land Trust than it is for individual municipalities. So,
That brings up a good question, though. Could possibly what happened is what's happening currently on Sparta Mountain with the CHOP happen here on this property?
no, because that is state. Yeah, this is it's for conservation purposes, and so you couldn't all of a sudden start bushwhacking the New Jersey Land Trust property.
That's why I want it owned by Sparta and not the state, right there. So,
And also, is it should be, can we put somewhere that all the residents be notified that there may be someone coming to their property to
that's
serve,
crazy to me.
to survey?
In this
I
day and
mean,
age.
other than just, yeah,
I came home to find steaks and ribbons, like literally.
that would concern me. Is there some way we can notify these people before they go out there to do this?
Can we
Other than
notice
a-
everybody within 200 feet?
Well, that becomes quite expensive. I mean, we do that with.
So we'll
It's in the rules. I mean, that's part of the land trust. That's in conveyance of land for their guidelines.
We haven't conveyed it yet.
So this, I mean, the resolution, and then the
It
process,
says
right?
within the land proposed to be conveyed. So that's
Yeah.
proposed to be
But we're
conveyed.
not conveying any land. We're authorizing to enter into discussions about the conveyance of land in a contract. So I know it sounds technical, but, we're just trying to advance the ball here. This is something that the community has been clamoring with for a long time. and it's gotten stymied and gotten roadblocked and objected to, and we're trying to make that happen. And rest assured, we will bring in the appropriate, no pun intended, stakeholders, so that they are able to, when the time comes to actually convey it. But if we keep delaying and trying to make it, the good, perfect, the enemy of the good, then we're just never going to get anywhere. This will never happen. And it takes a lot of work, and I just ask for the community's patience and understanding here that we are really trying to do the best we can to advance the ball. I understand. I will talk to Mr. Dykstra and say, look, if you have to do some more surveying, can you just maybe let the neighbors know ahead of time? Put a note in their door or something, so that they know that, hey, there's going to be some surveyors on your property. And so we can alleviate those concerns.
I wish there was an opportunity for public information about the exchange of land, and were there other options
There will be.
explored?
There will be. So I'm going to tell you that Doug Dykstra is, a professional surveyor for decades.
Yep.
And so for that middle school to high school trail, he had to be very careful of how to draw the trail, right? Because there's sensitive private property, wetlands, et cetera. And he picked the path that was the most reasonable path, the most feasible one. That's why we chose what we chose. So this idea that we could just pick any kind of land, do this one, do that, we could maybe, but then we couldn't have done that. The trail wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have been able to follow the path that it needs to find in order to be sufficient buffers from the wetlands, et cetera, et cetera. So he picked the most reasonable path that he could. So that's why you can't just throw up whatever alternatives. You have to say, okay, what would be the most reasonable path based on the buffers, based on private property owners, et cetera. And that's what he chose based on his experience and training.
You did post I don't know if it's a proposed path, but a photograph that had an outline of a path that went from the middle school and it crossed West Mountain, what picture I'm talking about. Is that the proposed path?
It's proposed at this point, yes, but
Because that shows a second crossing of West Mountain Road near the intersection where there's an accident every week. At the top, in between the bus depot and the corner, that's where the path would cross West Mountain, not where the lighted cross is down by the school?
At this point, we're a way off from that. We're probably years, frankly, for that. That's the last portion of it. So,
You're saying move forward with this because this is the proposed plan and don't halt it but that brings up a whole nother safety concern.
Well, now is not the time to address it. One, we're not conveying any land, right? We're not entering right now. This is a proposal, and we can bring in Mr. Dykstra, who can explain the trail and path and why he chose what he chose and why it's the most reasonable. But I don't think we should let, sort of future fears or what may happen stop the progress now. Because if we do that...
Progress now is giving the state 25 acres of Sparta-owned land.
That if you're interested in having it preserved, that's a good deal.
I would like to believe that I have trust in the people of Sparta, the people who live here. That's what I would like to believe, rather than people in the state that don't reside here and don't know about our beautiful town.
But then we would have to pick for that path. What happened was that path intersected on land that the New Jersey Land Trust owned. We'd have to redesign the entire path. We'd have to find a path that doesn't touch on any New Jersey Land Trust property. That's going to be very difficult because most of that area back there...
Possible, maybe difficult.
Well...
Maybe it's worth exploring.
Well, maybe, but like I said, there will be a time for that. So I've gone way past your 5-minute
Yes.
time, and so I need to respect the other members of the public who
Thank
have
you,
to
I
stick to
appreciate
5
that.
minutes.
Are they you go over that at the Trails Committee, right?
Yes.
When are those meetings?
They are usually, they've been varying because people have missed it, but they're usually on the third Thursday. But we have your information, and I'll invite you. And if you want to give me a list of the property owners that are concerned, simply just let me know who they are, and we can invite you to the
Yeah,
a
but
meeting.
there's many more that were concerned. We only found out this afternoon, and people were shuffling like, we don't have babysitters, and someone's wife was working, and like, everyone was like, I said, I'll go. But yeah, it's all
Okay.
of Old Cedar, Millstone, Sunrise, Heather, Meredith, all of that blocks that entire path.
Okay, so maybe the thing to do is we'll invite you to our third, I mean, it's open to the public anyway.
Is it an evening meeting? Is it-
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll, I'll make sure you know about it, and then whoever you want to wrangle up to attend can attend.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yeah.
It's here
Yes.
in the conference room?
Yeah, in the conference room.
Mayor, if you could email me, I'm the township clerk,
Absolutely.
and then I'll forward your information to our mayor.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John McNable. I reside at 51 Old Cedar Drive. Based on what Jen, I'm the mysterious man she referred to. I did see Dykstra doing the surveys. I just want to enter that into the record in case he says I tried to do something with regard to notification. I'm here to tell you that I didn't personally receive any notification. And I believe under New Jersey statutes, I didn't bring the references, that a legal land surveyor is required to make more than a good faith effort to notify when he's entering private property. So I'd like you to discuss that with Mr. Dykstra. And again, I was just here to say that I am the mystery man, and if there's questions about Dykstra having tried, he didn't make an effort at my front door.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else for public comment on the resolutions?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Christopher Bally, I'm on Greenfield Hill in Sparta, just about this 9.9 as well. Council, I'm just not following the path because I work from home. I go in and out often. I came home and also saw on my front lawn on Greenfield Hill, which is 2 miles down West Mountain, on the right side of the road, so the mine is behind me. I saw on my hub, which is the Dykstra hub, when I bought the house new from Joe Natale 20 years ago, there's a hub on my lawn from Dykstra Engineering. There was a ribbon on that, and there was paint on the street. And all of my neighbors and I were wondering, did the neighbors sell? Is somebody getting a survey? Why are they on my lawn playing with the hub? And now I found out just an hour or so ago from a friend of mine who lives in the area that this is happening. So 2 questions. The first question is, has there been any consideration for the cost? I know the woods back there. I know them very well. I walk them. It's all shale. It's going to be very difficult to put anchors in to support a boardwalk. It's going to become if you're doing a boardwalk, and we'll talk to Mr. Dykstra, get on notice, please, if I can. It's going to be a maintenance item. I can tell you that my generation I've put four girls through the high school. They've all done very well. The biggest impediment right now in town is the taxes. They've become staggering since we moved in 20 years ago, to the point where a lot of my friends and I are very concerned about that. So this is a very big concern for us. You're going to make the town uninhabitable. Last week, $89 million for a proposal. It's not a good way to go. If it's going to be a big expense, you really, really need to consider it. Please, that's all I ask. The taxes in New Jersey and the town have become unmanageable. The second question is, and has there been consideration for the cost?
Yes.
The design projections, the soft money, and the actual construction? Can we have that number, if you know it?
No, we don't have the number yet, but the point is
Okay.
because you're not there on the planning stage yet, right? Because the way these things work is you first have to survey the land to figure out where it's going to go. And there will be that. And look, if it turns out, obviously, it's going to be a $10 billion trail, obviously we wouldn't do it. But what you can't do when you do these things is say, well, I have this fear that it could cost a lot of money, so why do you even start? Now, if we took that approach, nothing would get done ever, and nothing that would advance the improved quality of life for Sparta would get done. There will come a time where we actually have to, how much is this actually going to cost? Is there grant money, et cetera? but we're just not there yet. This is really kind of incremental steps along the way, and this is just a tiny incremental step. There's going to be a lot more steps along the way.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. I appreciate getting on the list. So the second quick question, guys, is, so why are they out on Greenfield Hill if they're going to connect the middle school to the high school? I'm not understanding the path. May I be directed to that drawing so I could see where the?
Yeah, we can give you that drawing. That's probably a survey question. None of us here are surveyors, and why they have to go on there to survey this, I
Mayor,
don't know.
If you don't mind, I understand the confusion here, but over in your area where you're at, it has to do with the land swap, all right? The trail itself is going from the bus depot behind Earl's Tree Farm and behind the Van Kirk Homestead to the middle school, and it's right off of the wetlands there. In order to make that a straight line with town property and all that, we had to acquire a certain amount of property from the land trust, all right? So now the land trust says, we'll give you that property if you agree to swap the 25 acres, which is located on your side, by Greenfield, by Cedar, Millstone, all right? And they're surveying that strictly for the land swapability. As far as I know, there's no trails, no boardwalks, no anything going around by you guys other than them trying to serve, right? They're just trying to survey where their property exists right now, where the town's property is, because now the town, in proposal, would just be conveying that as a swap. And that's why I was saying all along, nothing is going to change by you folks over there. Nothing at all will change environmentally or anything. It would be done by the deed, and you bring up some good points on what you're saying, and I understand that. But just know that the trail itself is much closer to 517 between the high school and middle school. And that cross you're talking about, I believe it's a sidewalk down West Mountain to the football field, and then you cross at the crosswalk. I don't think they're going straight across, because you're right, that's just not safe. But for the time, if they get the trail built in that small little area between those two parts there, it would go down West Mountain on the sidewalk that's already there, and you'd have the crosswalk. Your concerns are well taken, but please know, as I understand it, you guys aren't going to see anything going on other than stakes and ribbons, because they're trying to establish the existing land trust area, the town area, and then how the swap would be conveyed, and they'd have new survey lines. I do feel for you on the notification, and yeah, you start seeing ribbons and paint and all that, you wonder what's going on, and we got to work better at figuring out how to notify residents. I wasn't aware of it until I learned from you about it, but we can do better at notifying you. But please know, though, my understanding, nothing's going to change other than this is part of that swap where the town gets the property from land trust for that trail. And I hope that clarifies a little
Thank you,
bit.
it does. I appreciate that.
And then the land trust, that we give the land trust some of our land
Yes,
for the swap.
right.
At least they can't
Robert
build.
Moss, Bloomfield. This is not why I'm here, and I don't process things quickly, but I'm having trouble buying some of the answers here. There should have been a preliminary survey, people notified before a preliminary survey, which could be done in the tax office, at worst, the county clerk's office. I just don't see why they have to be putting stakes in the ground, and then you come back and say, well, we'll do the details when we start writing the contracts. That's too late. So that's all I have for this one.
Well, in order to figure out what you're putting in the contract, you have to survey first. You can't, that's the whole point, is that you can't, until you know specifically, that's why they're doing it the way they're doing it.
Let me try just once more. Preliminary survey. You can look at tax maps. I used to do this all the time for the Highlands Trail. You can look at deeds if you have to. Preliminary. It doesn't mean it's final, but then the people who may be impacted could be notified. Is that clear, or am I not talking coherently?
Well, there was you're saying on purpose of notifying them.
Well, for purposes of notification, yes, start with that.
Okay.
They don't have to be on the ground surveying to say, well, we might go this way. Let me not take up more time.
Jenny Derrick's Tap into Sparta. Can you speak about the track record of the land trust versus the wildlife management area, forest, New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection? What is their track record, the land trust. The people about 30 years ago, residents got together and raised funds to secure the safety of the forest on Sparta Mountain, and then turned it over to the MUA, to have it become an MUA, thinking that, or WMA, thinking that it would preserve the land. There was a threat of a development going in there. And so they raised money to preserve the woods. And now here we are having to fight to say, stop chopping down our trees. So what proof or what confidence do you have? What is the track record of the land trust, New Jersey Land Trust, versus the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection's wildlife management project or programs throughout the state? Because it's not just here at Sparta, it's also down south. They cut down old growth forest down by Cape May. It's not a new thing. So do you know what their track record is?
And by they, you mean the New Jersey Land, have we done an analysis comparing the track record of the New Jersey Land Trust compared to the Fish and
I
Wildlife?
don't even need to do a comparison. I'm just saying the thing that's staring us in the face is that they cut down 20 acres, 10 acres of trees a year on Sparta Mountain that was donated, land was donated to the wildlife preservation with the expectation that it would be preserved. And now here we are saying nothing's going to change because it's going into this land trust. Do we trust the land trust? Does the land trust have a record that you can look at and say,
Yeah, I'm not aware
over
of-
20 years,
yeah.
50 years, 100 years, they've never developed land that they've been...
I am not aware of a situation like the one, again, it's the New Jersey Wildlife that did the Sparta Mountain thing, not the New Jersey Land Trust. And I'm not aware of a situation where the New Jersey Land Trust was, conveyed land and then all of a sudden started developing it or clear cutting it, et cetera.
That's my question. Has there been an investigation into the efficacy, into the trustworthiness of the New Jersey Land Trust?
Yeah, based upon their track record, based upon what we know about them, based upon that, Mr. Dykstra has over 30 years of experience with the land trust and, didn't identify, hey, there's really not a partner you want to partner with, right? Because they'll end up taking the land and they'll turn it into some developing thing or they'll clear cut it. That has not been raised. So there has been some evaluation of that. And the reason why we have to go with the land trust is because the way the trail is.
Yeah, I
they own the
understand. There's
property.
already land there. I get it. But my question, I'm just concerned that we're putting this land into a trust being run by a state entity when we have land also that was put into a trust by a state entity and they are not upholding what their promises were. It's hard to trust what's going on now. You can see why it would be hard to trust. And so
Yeah, and I think
I'm
that-
asking that if it hasn't been done, that a serious look, not just somebody said it's okay, but a serious look at the history of the New Jersey Land Trust. Because this isn't our only run with the New Jersey Land Trust. I believe we're doing more with the closing of the landfill.
I believe that's with Green Acres.
Okay, same question.
I'll just say there's probably information out there because they've been around 57 years and they are an independent agency associated with DEP, but they are definitely separate from Fish and Wildlife and that operation. And they manage and they're responsible today for over 30,000 acres of open space and 3,000 acres of conservation easements. So I'm not vouching for them. I'm just saying, just sharing some more information about who the NJ Land Trust is. So there probably is information out there if they've done something wrong.
And I think we can all also see, if you look at a scale of townships that own property and what they do with that property and compare that to the New Jersey Land Trust, who are you going to trust more to preserve it? We know plenty of times there's Sparta, where there's townships that own all kinds of property that's preserved that all of a sudden becomes a housing development, a warehouse, all kinds of things. So this idea, it's sort of this idea that, well, it's either, if Sparta owns it, it's in safer grounds, it's not always the case. So I think that's sort of a false choice to compare the New Jersey Land Trust and say, well, they, on maybe some instance, they, started developing or doing something with it. If you compare the New Jersey Land Trust to townships that have taken property that they own that was not developed and then sold it to a developer that now is developed, there's probably thousands of instances of that, right? So I don't know what future generations of Sparta Township are going to be. This whole council could change, and they could figure out that, you know what, I think we're going to figure out a way to take that wetland, environmentally sensitive property and build all kinds of things. So I kind of disagree with the idea that putting it in the township hands is actually safer. So
I was just going to make a similar point before you said that, just about, there may be a sense of trust today with how people are feeling, and maybe with this council, hopefully, about our feelings about land and about the environment. That could change. Politics change, the community changes a little bit. So just to, I guess, kind of echo that point, I was thinking the same thing, that right now it might seem like, things are great and protected if it's town property, but, who knows 5, 10, 15 years down the road, how things change. And this is an opportunity to actually help preserve that land as well. So.
Yeah, I think, what you've raised with respect to Sparta Mountain, that's going to be something that we can work out in the contract, particular provisions about what they can actually do once they have it. That's something that we can address, I think. And again, what tonight is about is to start that so we can start entering into those contracts and these issues about notice and, making sure that the land trust keeps it preserved, forever, we can deal with. So, any other public comments?
My name's Dan Dean. I think you should table this also. For one thing, you're saying that you've been looking at this for years, and you're already paying somebody to do surveys. You're already spending our tax money.
No,
So
not being paid.
He's doing it for free.
He's doing free.
No notification to us. You got a lot in front of my house that's being sold, and I'll give it to the state. You got another one on the other side by Greenfield. In between that is a bird sanctuary. So, no, there's no promise here that they're going to preserve this land. And
That
with
bird sanctuary part of it?
No, it's not. It's two separates. So, no notification to us is just a slap in the face. So I think you should table it, notify everybody, show everybody the plans, what's going on, and then move forward from there. No, we should be involved in this.
Well, there is a time for that, right?
You've been doing this for years already. So nobody's notified. You said it's been going on for years. So
No, they're
I
trying to
think
get
it's
the
time to
trails
start
out.
notifying us of what the plan is.
Understood. But I think that, like I said, all we're doing tonight is to start the contracting process. We've done, the survey, et
You want to
cetera.
contract something that we know nothing about. You're taking our land, our
Well,
township
one, I
land.
will disagree that we're taking your land, because unless that lot and block, unless your name is on that lot and
I'm
block.
not saying my land.
You don't, yeah.
I'm saying the township land.
Yeah.
And you're going to give it to the state. I don't trust the state with anything. So you're going to give two big lots away to them. And next thing you know, now they'll be put a parking lot down there for the boardwalk. They'll be connecting everything everywhere. No, I don't agree with it. I think everybody needs to be involved. And we're not.
Well, you're at the very beginning, and your point is well
This
taken.
is not the
and
beginning.
we
You
will.
just told us you've been doing this for years. You've been trying to do this for years.
Yeah, we've been trying to do
Okay,
a
so it's not
trail
the
for
beginning.
years, and we're finally making some progress. Finally.
All right, so you had
Because what
surveys
most people
done,
would do
then
when
you
they
should
hear
have
you,
notified us
they would
before
just
that.
shudder and stop. They'd say, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it, because people are going to raise concerns. I don't want to deal with the headache, and I knew all that going in, right? I knew all that going in.
Now you have a bigger headache.
What?
Now you have a bigger headache because you didn't involve us.
No, you're still involved. Nothing. Your land isn't getting taken. No boardwalk's getting built. Okay, I understand that,
Surveys
but
out, you
there's
got
going to be
surveyors
the
out there,
opportunity
everything
for
else.
you,
You didn't
sir.
send letters to anybody.
We
That's
weren't-
your responsibility, not his responsibility.
No, the law
You
does not
wanna-
require that we send a notice on an initial survey. Okay, so we will.
I disagree
your
with
point
that.
is well taken. We will get you the information you need. If you want to come to a meeting, you're more than welcome. But again, this is a marathon, and we're only 1 mile in, right? We're only 1 mile in.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Dash, can you, if this land is conveyed, you can make a contract to the New Jersey Land Trust that, I mean, put so many specifics in it? Can you do that too if this particular land is conveyed?
Yes, I mean, generally, yes, the rules of the land trust, first, they have their own rules that restrict the uses to certain conservation and recreation uses. And so we would endeavor to, knowing what we know about the history of Sparta Mountain, we would endeavor to take that lesson and employ it here to restrict any type of use that would be inconsistent with what the residents want. The particular parcel of land that is that the lady had brought up earlier is a rural residential lot that at the moment is susceptible to being purchased by a developer, or the township could sell that land. So there's policies for both, and at the moment, by having restrictions on how the land trust can use its preserve, it could effectuate the interest of the township and the council and the residents. But it's a fluid discussion, and there's nothing being carved in stone, and we certainly welcome the residents to have their input in that discussion on the restrictions with the preserve.
And right now, this land is wetlands, preserved wetlands, so it will stay preserved wetlands with the state?
It would stay restricted from development. Mm-hmm.
Joanne Scally, Sparta. I'm just asking to table it again tonight because there are some good questions raised, like especially by Jenny. I don't trust the state taking over anything. I was just doing a quick look. They can convey it without any input for us. There's no input once we sign that, we're forever emboldened to the state. They could do what they want within reason, but they can convey it. They can do other things, and we have no input into that. Jenny raised so many good questions, so the residents, I think it should be tabled. Why go and, you're saying it didn't cost money for surveying the land, but it will cost money entering into contracts or looking into contracts. And our town does not have the money. And in fact, our town does not have the money for this trail at this time. I think it should be put off. I think you should look into what Jenny brought up, look into what these other residents brought up. But I don't think it's time to start putting money into things. And hiring lawyers to look into things costs money. I don't want my tax money paid for this. I think it should be tabled and looked into, all these good questions. And it's preserved land. It's not going to be sold. Sparta's not going to sell it. I think it should stay in Sparta's hands. There's another way, I'm sure, that you can get that trail built. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard on the resolutions?
Why not?
Okay. We will now go to the resolutions. First, I'd like to do the ones together, and so may I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-2 and 9-3?
So moved.
May I have a second, please?
I will second.
All those in favor of approving Resolutions 9-2 and 9-3, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we've already done 9-1. May I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-4, which is a resolution authorizing the Township of Sparta to enforce a Halloween curfew?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 9-4.
May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, just real quick, the 9 o'clock curfew, that's what it's always been, right?
9.
Yeah, okay. All right, all those in favor of Resolution 9-4, say aye.
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 Resolution 9-4 has passed.
We've had this curfew for years?
21 years I've been here.
Okay. All right, so it's nothing new.
Okay.
In bed by 9.
Keep your eye on me, yeah. I got my toilet paper ready.
All right, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 9.5, which is a resolution to approve best practices inventory questionnaire.
Make a motion to approve 9.5.
May I have a second, please?
I will second.
Okay, I'll take it back. Anyone question?
Mayor?
Yeah.
I did prepare a statement just for the public on the best practice or
Okay.
inventory. The 2025 Municipal Best Practices Inventory is a statewide survey required by law that helps New Jersey towns review how well they follow important laws and use recommended financial and operational practices. By answering questions on topics like budgeting, emergency services, ethics, technology, and more, each municipality shows how it's working to serve the residents effectively and responsibly. The results help the state decide if towns qualify for their full state aid and also highlight areas where towns may need extra support or resources. The survey was shared with the council previously. Our survey score was a 38.5, which qualifies us for the full 100% state aid amount. Once this resolution is approved, our CFO will submit the survey, which has a deadline of October 24th. Thank you.
Thank you, and kudos to the township for scoring the highest that you need to in order to have, state funding. I will notice that you may want to take a look at comment 30. It says if you answer no, you have to put no in the comments field, and we didn't do that. So just when you go through, you're going to have to.
The CFO enters it
Yeah, okay.
she puts it in electronically, so.
Oh, okay, the
It'll-
version we had
she'll be
just
forced
didn't
to
say
do it.
anything. Okay, but if you read through that, you get a really good idea of all the things that the township has to do in order to obtain that score. And it's very detailed and pretty rigorous. So I think that it's a real good example of how this town tries to comply with the best practices. So thank you to all your staff who I'm sure had to help put that together.
Thank you.
Okay, so all those in favor of Resolution 9.5, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 9.5 has passed. I will make a motion to table Resolution 9.6. So I'm moving to table 9.6.
I'll second.
All those in favor of tabling, say aye.
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 9.6 is tabled. As I told her, there's and I can't get into it, there's a legal and attorney-client privilege.
Excuse me, Mayor?
Reason we
I
can't.
think this gentleman wanted to discuss 9.6. He came up early.
Yeah, you missed it. We had the whole comment on resolutions. That was the time to do it.
No, that's not what I understand. Now, I can't record everything in my mind at age 78
Okay.
automatically.
Okay.
But I understood that I would wait till this came up. You're going to say you're going to table it, and now is my time to speak.
Okay, I'm going to indulge you, sir, if you would, just listen to me for a second. We had a public comment period about the resolutions.
And I came
That
up
w-
here.
I know, and that was the opportunity to talk about it. I'm going to let
Told
you,
me to wait.
And then he didn't know to come back.
okay.
Wait till the transcript comes out.
Okay.
May I speak now?
Sir, I'm going to let you speak, okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. Some of us who oppose these, what's going on in Sparta Mountain, we're back and forth about coming tonight for the reason you're just discussing. So I am not well prepared. I don't have notes, and I'll take questions, give out my contact information if anybody has questions. It does relate apparently to what the residents were talking about there. What happens on what land that's supposed to be protected? Sparta Mountain is under Green Acres encumbrances to the extent that this trail business also involves Green Acres. It doesn't mean that it's going to maintain pristine forest just because it's Green Acres. Under Green Acres law and under certain conditions, the management practices now, the Sparta Mountain Forest Stewardship Plan, would be legal if they made certain changes. I just want people to understand that. And if Green Acres is involved in this, the land trust or something, that would also be true, but you can have deed restrictions. So with respect to Sparta Mountain, the issue is not really about, species. Supposedly, they're trying to protect species that depend on young forest habitat. New Jersey Audubon, which has been pushing this thing, has not done a survey, has not made up a comprehensive plan for the Highlands as a whole, which is needed. And that's the way you can tell how much land has to be managed this way, how much young forest do you need for warblers to survive, and so on. That has not been done. The reason being there's state and federal money that comes in when you have a wildlife management plan approved by a state forester. That's what this is all about. 10% of Sparta Mountain with its all regular boundaries and everything. 10% of Mullen Dickerson Reservation, that's county. It's all about doing this in as many places as you can, and private land, writing stewardship plans and managing them. You got to go out and flag trees. There's funding available for that, and I can give details, not right from my head now. That's what this is all about. Under Green Acres, and specifically for Sparta Mountain, it prohibits this removal of forest products for sale on the commercial markets. Well, that's exactly what they're doing there. They're cutting down trees and shipping them out to markets. There's also one other thing that came up recently, relatively a couple of years ago. Certain appropriations by the legislature are being made for so-called habitat restoration when they are not, and that's referring to the Sparta Mountain Plan, but the Sparta Mountain Plan is not restoration, even though they say it is management for the purpose of creating something that they say used to be. So these are two violations of Green Acres law right now. I have this in court. It is still in court. I am pro se. I'm not an attorney and I therefore cannot give legal advice. I am presently waiting for the New Jersey Supreme Court to respond to my challenge based on a denial of due process. The appellate division made a decision completely without basis in law. If I fail on this, and this proves I'm not a lawyer because I'm going to tell you my strategy, if I fail on this, I'm going to take it to federal court on a procedural due process violation. So that's what's going on there now. A lot of people are opposed for various reasons, not all exactly the same as mine. And we do hope that the council in due time will pass a resolution favoring the termination of the current forest stewardship plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we did vote on the tabling. Okay, that did
Yep.
pass.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Next up is, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-7, which is a resolution to endorse a modification to the Sparta Township chapter of the Sussex County Water Quality Management Plan, WQMP, for a proposed dwelling construction at 100 Indian Trail, Block 5023, Lot 3, within the Township of Sparta. So may I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-7? I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 9-7. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, all those,
I have a-
discussion? Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
I would like to propose an amendment, add a sentence in here. When our engineer looked at this, he had recommended a restriction put on this as well at the time of passing of a resolution. What he recommended was that any resolution adopted be adopted with the condition that no future construction on the property in question be permitted until all approvals from NJDEP and County of Sussex have been obtained. So my motion is that we add a sentence to this resolution that states the following: no future construction on the property in question be permitted until all approvals from the NJDEP and the County of Sussex have been obtained.
Okay, so we'll need to do a motion to amend. And then I will add to that, just there was a typo in the third whereas clause. the words "for" and "the" should be deleted. So it should read, whereas a resolution of support to modify. Right now, it says "for the to modify." So,
To modify, yeah.
yeah, that's what it should say, and you would delete the word "for" and delete the word "the." So we have a motion by Council Blumetti, and I'll just say that you're doing that one as well.
Yep,
Delete the-
okay.
So a motion, we have a motion to amend Resolution 9-7 to insert the language as stated by Councilman Blumetti, and also to remove the words "for" and "the" from the third whereas clause. So we need I need a second.
Councilman Blumetti, can you please repeat what you want me to put in the resolution to amend it and what
Yes.
section it is, please?
Okay. Attorney Dash, can you advise where that phrase is best suited to be inserted about the restriction on no construction until permits?
Sure. We could just add a final whereas clause before the now therefore. You could do that right before the now therefore clause.
Okay, so add another whereas clause right before the be it resolved. So the motion is add another whereas clause that states no future construction on the property in question be permitted until all approvals from the NJDEP and the County of Sussex have been obtained. Oh, good? Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so we have a motion to amend Resolution 9-7 for the statement read by Mr. Blumetti, and to delete the words "for" and "the" from the third whereas clause. So I need a motion, and now I just need a second to that motion.
I will second that motion for the amendment.
Okay, and so all those in favor of amending Resolution 9-7 as stated on the record, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 9-7 has been amended. Now, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-7 as amended?
I'll make a motion to approve 9-7 as amended.
May I have a second, please? I will second it. All those in favor?
Can we discuss this again?
Okay.
Now, would this new structure hooking up to the sewer system or expanding our sewer system impact our fair housing COA number?
No.
No. Okay, thank you.
We have a first and a second. Before we go to vote? Okay.
Roll
All those
call.
in favor of Resolution 9-7 as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 9-7 as amended has
Mayor,
passed.
did you want to do a roll call for the amendment?
I don't think we have to. I mean,
Did we?
it's up to you. You run the show.
You could do it.
Roxanne.
You could do
Yeah,
it.
if you don't mind,
call?
roll
Okay.
call
So this is a roll call on approving Resolution 9-7 as
as
amended.
amended.
Yeah.
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Blumetti,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Resolution 9-7 as amended has been approved. Next, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-8, which is a resolution awarding a contract to Joe Demo LLC for concrete and asphalt crushing per the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection in accordance with the local public contracts law, NJSA 40A11-1 at sequence required disclosure. So may I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-8?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 9-8.
May I have a second, please?
I will second.
Okay. And Jim, just a question about this. How did this particular contractor, how was it selected?
It's by quotes, because we have a purchasing agent. So every year, the Public Works Department does a whole bunch of work out on the roads and on facilities, and they collect a lot of concrete, usually from catch basin work and stuff like that. And we have a spoils pile of concrete, and we have a spoils pile of asphalt, all right? It's contaminated to a certain extent, and you have to dispose of it properly per the DEP. Rather than trucking it out to a recycling agency, we're able to grind it on location, save a ton of money on trucking fees and wear and tear and whatnot. And then the recycled product can get used and get reincorporated into new roads as base or base material for other purposes. So the process has worked very well for us. Now, what's happened now is the cost of doing it is over our threshold, and with that, we get the quotes given, and then when the quotes are given, anything over the pay-to-play rule, it jumpstarts the resolution process by the QPA, right? So the QPA says, hey, it's over 17.5, you really should do a formalized resolution in awarding the contract. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, great, thank you for that explanation. We have a first and a second. All those in favor of approving Resolution 9-8, say aye.
Aye.
Next, we have Resolution 9-9, which is a resolution of the Township of Sparta, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, supporting acquisition of certain township lands by the New Jersey Natural Lands Trust in exchange for the conveyance of certain lands by the trust to the township. So I may have a motion to approve Resolution 9-9.
I'd like to make a motion to table this resolution, subject to additional evaluation and learning exactly what the risks and mitigants are to possibly conveying this land.
Yeah, we have a motion to table. It needs a second.
I will second it.
Okay, so we have a motion to table 9-9. All those, why don't you do a roll call for that one?
And this is to table Resolution 9-9.
Yes.
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Lumetti,
No.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
No. So the motion to table has failed, and I will add that there will be, again, there's going to be plenty of time to vet all the concerns and all the issues that people have raised. We're just trying to get the ball rolling at this point. So no one's land is getting conveyed, or not even the township's land is getting conveyed at this point. This is simply to begin the process, and we are going to, we will do notice. We will bring people in to explain this, and I think what tonight has demonstrated, people need a lot more information. We're just very early in the process. That's why there's not all that information, because we knew the time would be coming for that later on down the road. We're just trying to get started. So again, the motion to table has failed. Now, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-9?
So moved.
May I have a second, please? All right, I will second it.
We have some discussion?
Sure.
Please? Okay. First question, I'm not sure if our attorney or town manager knows this, but is this town property being considered quote-unquote preserved today in any fashion? Or is it just township property?
Most of it's environmentally sensitive land, and likely it's not restricted from sale, but it's likely restricted from development because of the natural characteristics of the property, either wetlands or other environmentally sensitive land.
Okay, so it's not necessarily preserved outright, but in terms of if any party was going to try to do something, they'd run into problems with permits and
They
the whole process.
could, but as history has shown, the developers will go to any extent to develop land that even may be considered environmentally sensitive.
Okay, okay. So I have a couple thoughts here. Obviously, there needs to be a lot of attention on this going forward because there was, the first, the surveying step was not handled well at all, and we do need to address that with Mr. Dykstra. That should not have happened at all. We will need to look at the cost considerations, absolutely. We'll look at any property disputes. That obviously can't go forward with any property disputes. It's horrible, and that needs to be, that will be resolved. I mean, legally it needs to. This needs to stay preserved. Any contracts or any details that are being proposed coming down the pike, if this goes through, need to be meticulously analyzed and be very careful. And that includes making sure that this stays preserved. The land, as you've heard and as you know, is environmentally sensitive. It's really not meant to be developed, and that needs to stay in it. And down the road, if that's not happening, then I'm definitely not going to be in support of it. All that being said, as long as we're going to do that, and that needs to happen, and there's a lot of stop signs along the way, I do think we need to consider this and take the next step forward. So that's why I'm in favor of supporting this moving forward. And you'll see the language in the resolution is not for a contract, it's not for any financial exchange, it's just to say that we support taking the next step to see if this can happen. That's where I stand with this. I'm not saying it's a given, and depends on what comes up, we'll see what happens. But we need to at least take the next step to see what's going to happen.
Thank you for that, and I will echo that, and I can't help but what comes to mind is, you know, when I coach athletes who want to run a race, they often are like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this? And they want like the perfect thing before they get started. And what you tell them is the most important step you'll take is the first step out the door. Right? If you're trying to resolve every possible thing that could possibly go wrong in a race before you step out the door, you'll never start that race and you will never finish it. And so what this process and what this discussion has is, what I don't want to do is turn this into, we are not going to take even the first step before we know all the 50 other steps that are going to happen and all the other things that will unfold. If we do that, we will never get started. And what we're trying to do tonight is get started. And I think people have made very good concerns, and I think that that's very important going forward. And so as we start to go down and run this marathon, we will address those issues. And but so I thank you for raising them. They're important points. And again, let's start this race. Let's don't just give up until we have a perfect answer to all our questions. This is about getting started tonight.
Open space dedicated to the Township of Sparta, right on the survey. So it was dedicated open space preserved land in Sparta. I don't believe it's
Is that for all of the lots in question?
that is, what, 44, 46. I'm 45, 46.
Let me just mention, please, is there actually a need for this? The 4 children went to the high school. None of them ever found the need to have to go from the middle school to the high school. Is there some type of need for this? Is that the bus depot that I don't understand? What is the purpose of this?
Is there a need? Yes, there's a need. You go talk to middle school parents whose kids have to walk down West Mountain Road, and would they like not have to traverse that and go be able to take a trail from the middle school to the high school? So yes, there is a need. Yeah. So anyway, we have a first and a second. So all those in favor of approving Resolution 99, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
No.
No,
Okay, Resolution 99 has failed.
I think we need more information. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we could have tabled it, but
Well,
we said no.
I think again, I will reiterate, all we're trying to do is get started here. And what people want is all the information right away before we can even get started. but it is what it is.
I will say that, you know, in a lot of the community surveys, including the, 1,000 or so people last year with the master plan survey and other ones, there has been a lot of requests for things like this, right? For giving a space for people to get outdoors and enjoy the environment more, to have something safe between the schools. So this is not coming out of nowhere. That's why this idea has been around, and now it's finally, we're trying to get more information on it if it's feasible. And this is the path forward. Doesn't mean that it's a given whatsoever. Again, the environmental issues and the nature part of it is first and foremost. But it's not that it's a few people thinking this is a good idea. This has been, trails, walking paths, things like that have been there forever. Yeah, and it's more lately we've been hearing that from the community.
I believe, I certainly support the Trails Committee, but it doesn't seem like, we're talking about 3 pieces of land here, and we haven't done the research on the 3 pieces of land, the piece we're going to swap, the 2 we're going to give, and what are the ramifications of that. So I would just like to answer the public's concerns. I mean,
We'll look
that doesn't
into the
mean we have
land
to
trust.
defeat this for the end of time, but, maybe we could look at this, get some answers and revisit this at the next meeting if we had answers.
Well, the idea that the land has not been reviewed is incorrect. It has been, has been preserved, environmentally sensitive land. I don't know what more people need to find out about.
No, the land trust, the New Jersey Land Trust, and how they've been, I think that would be,
Again, we can, okay, it's no sense belaboring, but my point is, we could have done that, right? We didn't sign a contract today,
no.
all right? So now we have to go back, and I'm going to tell you, this is how initiatives always fail. They always fail because people want every single answer to their question before it gets started. Are you okay, sir? Okay, okay. I
Rural, 5 acres. That's what we built. They want it. So I don't say it's preserved. Because on your zoning map, it's not.
Okay, well, I'm not going to belabor the point, but, I guess I'll have to work and find out what more information will be needed before we can even begin the process. Again, we're not at the conveyance stage here. So, all right, and we've already done 910.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Missing part of my, hold on. Okay, we are up to council liaison updates, and I'll start to my far left.
Hi, the Municipal Alliance participated in Harm Reduction Month back in September, and I would just like to make an announcement that Narcan is being now distributed for free at Sparta Pharmacy, Stop and Shop Pharmacy, CVS of Sparta. And so if anyone has a concern that they may ever need to use Narcan on someone that's in their home or someone that's a neighbor, they may want to go get a dose of Narcan. Narcan is the I guess it's the anti-drug when someone overdoses on opioids or heroin, as I understand it. There are also vending machines that are available, and so you don't have to go in the store and ask for something like that. At the Hapakon Senior Center, at 32 Lakeside in Hapakon. You can always get this Narcan at the Center for Prevention and Counseling, which is at 61 Spring Street in Newton. And there's a lovely lady, Lisa Lombardo, that would be glad to help you with any counseling or any issues you have regarding, drug abuse and drug use and Narcan. Yes, sir.
Do the police routinely carry this EMS services?
Yes, we do. We have it in all of our vehicles. We have extra on hand.
Because you're the first line of defense.
Yes, and also if you want some more information on Narcan, if you look on our website, we always post information from the Center for Prevention and Counseling when they host training on it.
That's it.
Margie?
With the Rev 250 was canceled, and we have not had another meeting yet for the Seniors Committee. And I will have one this week or soon for environmental, so I have nothing new to update. Or the environmental.
Sure. A little bit on the master plan subcommittee. The message is getting out there. There's going to be a public input meeting on a large scale at the high school on Wednesday, October 29th at 7 p.m. All are invited, and this is the next step that followed the focus group sessions and the stakeholder committee sessions, stakeholder sessions with various specific groups, such as the recreation department, the first responders, the board of the education and board of ed, and other various groups. This one is now more of a community event, and we'll have different sections and breakout groups, and you can get a quick overview of the master plan, and then we'll be looking for ideas and input on various segments of the master plan. Again, that's October 29th, 7 p.m. at the high school. There are numerous components of the master plan that are underway now. For instance, the background information, goals and objectives, the demographic analysis, the circulation plan is getting started up. The land use plan is underway. Climate change vulnerability assessment is also underway. So these are various components, and there are a few other ones, and those are being done in parallel, and then some of them sequentially over time as we move forward with the master plan process. So feel free to join us and come out on the 29th. We're looking to have a good group and some good dialogue. They're not available. No, the master plan is not created yet. It's still draft. Online, though, there are versions of the old master plan and some of the amendments since then. But the new one is it's a work in progress. There's nothing shareable yet, but at the right time, there'll be public hearings and sessions at the planning board level, especially about it.
How do you normally provide notices to the public? I'm curious about that.
Well, in this case, it's on the website, it's in local news outlets, it's on the message board. There was an alert that went out if you signed up for the email or text alerts.
It is Sparta Independent, for instance?
I don't know if it's in the Independent. Tap Into is, okay.
Tap
Yeah,
Into.
electronic. Yeah,
It's a news resource.
yeah.
Like it or not.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Since our last meeting, we have not had a Rev 250, so don't have an update on that. But there's, so in our film commission, not much since my last one, but we do have, I think, I may have mentioned, I can't remember if I did, but I will repeat, that there is now a Sussex County Film Commission, and that there will be members of the Sparta Film Committee that are also belonging to the Sussex County Film Commission. Also, we are currently working with Barnlight Studios. Some of the members are, which is now partnered with the Sussex County Community College, which is going to create a local film workforce pipeline. And that Justin Karparchewicz from our Film Commission has joined the advisory board for this, and so he can help them with getting resources like culinary, HVAC, et cetera, for any entertainment questions, entertainment production. Also, we're in the process of building a central photo resource that will showcase Sparta filming locations, which is beyond what Real Scout provides. Now, Real Scout is, if you go on the New Jersey Film Commission, there's a thing called Real Scout, which is like a database where you can do searches on it and say, and find locations that you'd be interested in doing. We're going to do a separate one that will just showcase, Sparta possible filming locations that entertainment production companies can look to. And also, what I like about this next update is the kind of what I call cross-pollination between committees. So we have a member of our Rev 250 committee, the reenactor Ben Thies, who is interested in possibly doing a filming of a reenactment. And so he reached out to us about the process and how he'd go about that, and we were instructing him. So there hopefully will be a filming of a reenactment of probably a colonial Revolutionary War skirmish. Ben is a very accomplished reenactor. So again, he reached out to us, and we're working on that now. So that's the update with the film committee. Have not had a meeting for the rec. I think we have a opioid settlement meeting. It's at the end of the month, I think.
I believe is the last Wednesday.
Yeah, so that will, and after that meeting, I can give an update on that. What else? And that is all I have for council liaison updates. Right, we are now up to unfinished or new business. And again, I'll start to my far left.
I just want to go on the record that the next zoning board meeting is having to be canceled as we do not have enough members to conduct a quorum. And that is because of the obstructions that we've had in choosing additional zoning board and planning board members from my fellow councilmen. I just want to go on the record with that. And so here we are, now we're obstructing and stopping progress. Thank you.
I don't have any new business.
Councilman Matty.
Sure. Just clarifying question for Mark. How many members are on the zoning board and how many are required for a quorum?
The next meeting is a D variance meeting, and I understand from speaking to the head of the zoning board just moments before this meeting that the meeting will be canceled because he doesn't have a quorum to hold a D variance quorum.
Is that 5 votes or do you know?
I don't know
That's
the
okay.
numbers,
That's
Dean.
okay.
I don't know the
Yeah.
numbers, Dean. That's just what the head of the planning board said.
Okay.
Well,
Maybe you
Head of
could
the
call
zoning
him.
board.
No, it's a excellent.
Head of the zoning board. I'm
zoning
sorry.
board, yeah. Well, it's actually,
Well, I will say none of us have, usually the zoning board chairman reaches out to all the council members if there's an issue with respect to something involving the zoning board. And this is the first that we've heard about their inability to hold a meeting. So I haven't seen that. And normally Ken's very good about notifying us. So can reach out to him, to verify that is accurate.
so Mark, it's a great segue. I almost could have not planned it better, but 'cause I want to talk about that actually. So I've been thinking more and more about an appointment process for volunteers to the planning board and zoning board, especially after the last few meetings. We've had a lot of debate and a lack of forward movement, and a stalemate is not good for anyone. A week ago, I sent a draft recommendation to each of my fellow council members just to share my thoughts and a quick and easy plan of how we can move forward in a way that honors the importance of these roles, because these are long-term appointments to 2 statutory boards. So in the hopes of us moving forward and clarifying it that way in a fair manner, I'll be making a motion in a minute to authorize our attorney to create a resolution for our next meeting or to adjust the ordinance. I'm not sure which it'll take, but we need consensus before he can even do that, and just so we can have a way to move forward. These 2 boards, I think, really deserve a little bit more attention. They're not a simple committee. There's a lot of responsibility that goes with this. It's a multi-year appointment and a commitment on behalf of a volunteer. These are statutory boards, so they take training. They take a lot of requirements to get up to speed, and they have a huge impact on the community. The online volunteer forms that we use, they're great for most of these committees, but I find that at most, they really only have a space and ability to add a couple sentences. We're not getting applications, we're not getting we're not getting a feel for who this volunteer might be. It's a few sentences at most. So I think it'd be valuable to hear for a minute or two, just someone explain what they care about, who they are, why they want to serve on these boards. And then to also at the same time, make sure we're hearing if 5 people applied for it, we're not just getting one appointed or one person recommended up here. We're hearing all 5 at once. If you've waited and you sent an application in, you should be heard at the same time as the other 1, 2, 3, or 4 people that want that spot. So with that being said, we could do this. It's a 3-step process. It's very simple. When an open position is identified on the planning board or zoning board, all the volunteer candidates that have applied for that spot in the last 2 years, which is how it works today, 2 years, your application is valid 2 years, our clerk would contact them and say, are you still interested? Right? It might have been 23 months ago. Maybe they've moved. Maybe they don't have an interest anymore. So contact them, see if they're interested. Step 2, we invite them into a council meeting, preferably at the same time. If not, maybe up to 2 council meetings, but no longer. We get them all in, and they speak. We have a short segment. They get 1 or 2 minutes for a statement, 30 seconds for a statement, and then we each get 1 question. That's it. And we just move on. Step 3 is that these interviews happen, and then we have a vote. But the interviews can't happen and we can't vote unless there's at least 4 council members. That seems reasonable for the importance of these roles. We should strive for 5. We should have at least 4 council members present to hear the candidates. They deserve respect, and then vote on them. And you need 3 votes for an appointment, which is how it is today. 3 votes, right? A majority. I don't think that's unfair or unreasonable. I think it gives us a better chance to hear from the applicants and then to make a valid choice. These are important roles. Some of them are 4-year terms. So that's my, I'm going to make a motion that we authorize our attorney to create a resolution for the next meeting or modify the ordinance if that's what it needs so that we can just move forward and get these things filled and have a fair process for everyone. So that's my motion.
Does the ordinance now say go back 2 years to the applicants who applied to contact them?
I don't think the ordinance says contact them, but the applications are valid for 2 years and
They're valid.
disappear.
So, I mean, wouldn't if somebody were interested, wouldn't they contact us continually? You
No,
would think?
I don't think so.
necessarily.
No, I think this is a proactive way to just reach out and say, okay, you've applied. Are you still interested? We're going to have 3 weeks or a month from now, please come in and speak to us for 1 or 2 minutes. Honestly, if someone doesn't care anymore, or if they're not willing to speak for 1 or 2 minutes, then maybe they're not the best fit, right? So, I mean, we need to find the people. So, but if we put a process, then it'll happen.
And have them be, what about interviewed by the chair of the
Actually, should
board?
we have a second first so we can discuss it more? Or?
I'll second the motion to authorize the attorney to adopt a resolution or / amend an ordinance. He'll determine that, to determine a selection process for our statutory boards, the planning board, the zoning board, and the environmental commission, which are all statutory boards. So I'll second it.
Okay. Margie, did you have?
Okay, yeah, so, I mean, we've not done this in the past, correct?
Correct.
So.
Not that I'm aware of that.
That we've ever had.
A long time ago, there might have been interviews, but not before, way before my time, if that's the case.
Yeah, way before.
There might have been actually at some point. I don't know if anyone has institutional knowledge of that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has. I don't think it needs to be in public. I think it should be like we interviewed people for town council position. I think it should be in
It can't be legally though.
Why?
Right? Executive sessions they're overused all the time. They're for litigation, employee personnel issues, and contracts. I believe contracts.
So it couldn't be?
No.
We had the
Town
people
council.
that were interested in town council interviewing,
Is
and we
there-
wasted all their time. And then seven people, I think 4 or 5 were interviewed, and then we wasted
Can we
all
stick to
their
the
time.
topic, Mark,
told
'cause we
them-
didn't waste their
We told them
time.
we were going to make a decision within 2 weeks, and here we are months later.
Right.
And now we're just throwing this in to cloud the waters a little bit more.
Interesting perspective.
So they would not be considered, that would not be considered part of an executive session? No. So it would have to be in public?
It should
It'll
be
be
in
like a
public. What?
congressional
Why not
Why not in
investigation.
public? I don't understand.
Well, no, I mean, it's just because how do you limit 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute? I know, but I mean, if it's, and what about the chair of the planning board, zoning board, would they also have, I think they also would have an input?
They don't,
They could attend. I think that, yeah, they could attend, and that's actually a very good point, which is that they could attend and they could offer, hey, I think, having heard Joe Smith, I think Joe Smith would be who my particular choice would be for this business. Because the way it's worked in the past, it's frankly what I look as sort of under the cover of darkness. Meaning the public doesn't know who's going to be on this board until it's a fait accompli with a motion and a second, and then they're on, and then the public's like, where did that person come from? And also it's a very cumbersome process when we have, because what has to happen is Dean has to call the person, interview them. It's like whisper down the lane, and then it's my turn, and then it's Margie's turn, and then it's Councilman Scott's turn to interview the person, and then we all have to then get back together and figure it out. I think, although it seems like, the process, I think it will actually streamline it if we can simply agree on it. I think that being able to have the person who's going to be facing the public, these are public-facing boards, I think adding to the process where they can face the public in a town meeting and explain why they want to do it, their experience, because if you get someone on the board that doesn't necessarily gel with the rest of the people, it can cause all kinds of issues. And things don't get done, things get backlogged, applications take a lot longer, and we're seeing that now. And it's also to prevent, unfortunately, what happened, we were not going to do appointments by ambush, right? This process came about because there was what I would describe as an ambush appointment. So to avoid that, the way to do it is to have them all come forward, and then, look, we could even vote on them after their an interview that night, and we get it all done at once. So I like the idea. I've
Well, I
already been a
agree, the
fan.
application is not at all. Yeah, the application needs to be redone, so there's information on there. I don't know, interviewing, I don't know that it's not a bad idea, but we just have to get this has been delayed way too
an
long.
interview might be a strong word, right? We're asking them probably, what I thought, and we could change this, that, you give them 2 minutes or 3 minutes and just say about themselves, why they're interested, why they care, whatever. And it's up to them. And then we ask one question each. So I don't think this should be like a long marathon.
Well, it's still an interview.
You can call it that. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't disagree with it. I just don't, I get this, if it can't be done in an executive session, it's just been going on way too long.
I believe we should just wait for the outcome of the election, and then we have 5 people on our council. We'll be able to execute business effectively.
Mark, how does that serve the volunteers? Right? So if we don't look back 2 years and invite them and see if they're interested and bring them in so we can all hear them and give them a fair shot, how does sticking with what's happened
Well, if
and
they
not
knew it
improving the
was regular,
process?
if it was, their application was good for 2 years, why wouldn't they come up, they would be paying attention to what's
Because
going
if
on.
any one of us can nominate to appoint somebody, right, whenever. So we don't have the chance to hear and look back 2 years and ask them to come in, and no one else gets to hear them.
No, I'm saying, but if the person who put their application in, if they know it's good for 2 years, why wouldn't they be paying attention to what's going on and know it? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know, I guess you could say, have we done that? Have we contacted the people that have put in applications? As of yet?
I think,
I have not set up anything yet until
Yeah, I mean,
the
we've
decision
been,
is
I mean,
made.
and I think it's incorrect. I mean, we've described this process for, months ago. And so you're equally able to agree to this as we are. So the attempt to say, well, it's Councilman Blumetti's fault, it's Councilman, no, we suggested a process. You don't want to agree to it. And so here we are.
Well,
So you are as equally culpable for the delay as what you blame us to be. We think this is a fair process. We think it's more transparent. And I think it's a better way to go. But so we have a first and a second, and
What's
and
the
this is-
harm? I don't understand what the harm is. Why don't we just try it out? I mean, how bad can it be? It seems fair. What's the downside of this? I don't quite get it. I tried looking at this objectively. I mean, we're not saying it, I don't think every committee and board, because that's going to be overkill, right? These are statutory boards that have
statutory boards,
long-term,
right,
again,
right.
long-term, and you said we don't know enough about them. These are multi-year appointments, sometimes up to 4 years.
Or we could adjust the applications. But
Can't go backwards with that, though, and takes work, right? I don't know. I don't.
I mean,
I don't know.
unless people want more appointments by ambush, then I think this is the way to go, because I'll tell you what's going to happen, right? This is what this is about. Let's just cut through all the BS. It's about, hey, do we have the 3 people, do we have 3 votes for the person I want? Who cares about those other 2? We're just going to get them in. Doesn't matter. That's what this is about.
no, it's about
right?
doing
Now-
the right thing for the town.
Yeah, the right thing for the town is to put the people in front of the process, to have us interview them so that people can see it. And I thought you had a very good suggestion about the chairperson of the planning board and the chairperson of the zoning board being a part of that. These folks need to be vetted more than they have. We had our own criticism 4 years ago about people who were on the planning board. And my guess is my friends to the left would probably have recommended this process if they knew the constituency of the board back then. So simply, I'm trying to prevent appointments by ambush, get the public, get some transparency, and so we all know how we're dealing with these very important appointments. So I will second it. We have a first, we have a second. Why don't we have a roll call vote?
Councilman Scott,
No.
Councilman Blumetti,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
No.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
You two are remarkable.
So are you.
So are you.
Yeah. I shared this a week ago. If you wanted to
I
give
know.
input on it, you could have. I didn't hear from you, Margie. Mark, I heard your response, and it was
Because
just
I haven't said
sarcasm.
anything different.
You don't have any other ideas how to make this
Let's wait
better?
till we get a fifth
Wait till
person.
we, I have no other new ideas than what I said months ago, so, no.
Which was what?
which was we should have taken care of it then and.
No, do you have a process or a way to move forward that's,
The way
improves
we've
it?
been doing it.
That improves things?
It does.
The way we
How
have
does it
been
improve
doing
it?
it, we didn't need to
Yeah,
change
it's
it
fine.
right then and there.
All right.
It's, no,
It's useless.
pointless.
It is, you're right.
Mayor, could we take a 5-minute recess?
Sure.
Thank
Take a motion for a 5-minute recess. May I have a second?
Why don't we
Second.
just,
Yes.
Second.
And all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, the meeting is back in section.
I said aye. I said aye.
Okay.
Okay.
So an important thing that I failed to do, we had folks during the meeting sort of call out from the seats, and that's just not appropriate. You know, if you wanted to address the council, there's the opportunity to do so. And so going forward, I didn't cut people off or say stop yelling from the crowd, but I should have. Otherwise, the meeting could devolve into a cacophony of people shouting from the audience. So, you know, going forward, I'll be a little more strict with that. Again, you can come to the microphone. No need to kind of yell from the stands. So just I'll say that. All right, we are now at the final open to the public comment period. Anyone wishing to be heard?
Joanne Scally, Sparta. Just about the zoning board. I was at the zoning board meeting this past meeting, and there was 3 on there for D variances waiting to be heard. One got heard, Elite Trucking, and thankfully they lost. But the 2 others sat there all night with their attorney. Then they were told to come back on October 22nd, and now we hear that's canceled. Is that fair that we have these openings and these businesses that want to do business in town or put their billboard or whatever can't be heard because you guys can't come to a consensus on having additional members that are needed? And my other statement is, you saying about ambush, I really don't think that was an ambush, because it could be an ambush every time. The majority of 3 can outvote the 2. So you could call it an ambush every time there's a vote you don't like. But it was a quorum. The town attorney said it's a quorum. It was not an ambush. So I think you should stop using that word so frequently. I don't know, probably a dozen times used it tonight. It's not a word that should be used. I thank you. Have a good night.
I just have a comment, though. Respectfully, Ms. Scully, I know we disagree on this, so I personally did see it as that. So I won't go into the details, but there's the background and the context of, there you are. It was inappropriate, in my opinion. But I appreciate your perspective on it. Yeah.
Jenny Derrick's tapping to Sparta. 2 things. The first is just asking for an update on the solar farm.
I don't have an update.
Nothing
Jenny.
new?
Not much has changed since last we spoke.
Okay, and do we have any update on any of the litigation related to Diamond Chip? There's 3 cases.
I'll leave that to our attorney to answer.
Unfortunately, probably nothing that we can discuss in a public forum by way of an update.
Okay,
No rulings by the court, though.
Correct.
that's what I'm looking for. Thank you. And then finally, I know you don't discuss a ordinance on its first reading, but it has been the practice to explain why you need this ordinance. So would you please tell why we need 2518, the digitization of township documents?
Well, when we have the hearing, we'll talk about it more at
I'm
length.
not asking for the merits, I'm asking why we need it, which is a practice. This is a longstanding practice to
Sure.
explain why.
Actually, this will benefit you, Jenny.
Okay.
And that is that by us digitizing our files, we're actually behind from a lot of other towns. You save space, you increase security, you make it much easier to find and query documents, especially Oprah documents and whatnot. What motivated this was I recently inherited 198 boxes of legal documents from Laddie, Clark, and Ryan. And I have to find a place to put them. And they're good documents. I don't want to get rid of them. So digitizing them and archiving them and organizing them properly so they're searchable would be a very beneficial process. And what I had done was I had discussed this with the council. They're familiar with the process. A lot of towns are doing this. This is also a pilot. I'm hoping to sell the process with all the clerk files. Roxanne will tell you she's loaded with files. She's, by regulations, abide by holding on so many files before the others get destroyed. But if we can archive them digitally and have access to them in perpetuity, that's the way to go. And the best part of this is what we did in this evening's meeting was we actually closed out a lot of extra monies that we had from prior capital improvement projects. They go back into the capital improvement fund. And then I was able to, we introduced an ordinance to establish this ordinance here, which would establish monies for the digitization. So it's not new debt, it's money we already had allocated. It's just, you have to formalize it in a new ordinance. And I believe that it will be a real benefit to the residents, to everybody, in getting our technology up to date. And that's really what that's about.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll just say my response to when this got proposed to me was hallelujah. You know, it reminded me of when, back when I was practicing law in the early 2000s, we'd have to find documents by going through boxes. And it just sort of astonished me that's how we still do it here in Sparta. And that takes time from our clerk. It takes time that could be spent on other things, simply trying to find a document. And so I'm looking forward to, hopefully we can go fully digital, searchable. I can tell you that when you have that and you have that access and you can get it quickly, it saves a lot of time, effort, and expense. And we have had instances where we couldn't reportedly find something, and then we eventually found it after we dug through a sufficient number of boxes. So I'm looking forward to this actually becoming a reality. So. Okay. I think there's anything else. May I have anyone else for public comment? Okay. Seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion carried. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all for coming, and
Thank
thank
you.
you online.